All right, guys. Well, let's see what we can do in the aftermath of that horrible performance. Before I do anything else, I do want to go back over here to the tactics. So we can see Atu was injured. He's going to be out for about 2 weeks, which isn't a huge problem. As good, he'll be able to get back. That's what we care about. This is part of the problem here, right? So we took Tiatia out of that match and we put, what's his name, Loke in there. Loke is not good enough to play right back. He doesn't know how to, and he really is probably... I don't know if he's good enough to play at this level yet or not. I mean, you trust what your assistant manager says. He had a couple of good matches earlier on against poor teams. I mean, he did okay against Ilau and Tomata, but was this an actual match or friendly? I can't even remember. Right. Hasn't played well lately. Doesn't really do much. Doesn't really get much by way of a starting role. He's a young player, and anyway, we'll hold on to him and we'll see what happens. But we have this temperamental personality and other problems. That's the sort of thing you kind of have to deal with at this level. But what we're going to do first of all is we're going to take that off and we're going to put this player here onto an attacking role. And now the question of whether I want these guys to be inverted wingers and wingers is probably another question that we need to solve. It's probably something that we really need to look into once we figure out exactly who it is that we're going to play. I was complaining about Palipua the other day as well. Palipua actually has played well. How old is he? He's 21, so I might not be so quick to want to just dismiss him and get rid of him. We might have been overplaying him a little bit. He actually had a 7.1 rating in the last match. The one I'm more worried about is Hangi Poli, this 16-year-old kid who is probably still a little bit off of the first team level. And he had a bad match there and has had a couple of bad matches before. This was a friendly against Lionheart in which he also played poorly and played also poorly against the Tafuna Jets. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do with these players. Part of the problem that we have here and the reason why we're running into these issues is because we don't have enough center backs, right? And the reason why is because we had a young center back who decided to become a jerk and got upset with me because I told him he wasn't training well and decided to stop listening to everything. So that's another problem that we have, another thing we need to figure out. Palipua will probably go ahead and send him off onto... here we go. We're going to go ahead and send him off for a little while. We'll have him rest for the next match. Whatever. We're going to send him on rest anyway. I don't really care what he says about it. He needs to rest, and we're not going to have him totally kill himself over trying to win. It's a pretty ridiculous thing. I mean, to be honest with you, should be okay for us to go ahead and send this guy on holiday for a week, right? We're not playing any matches in the next week, so it should be all right. Next thing that we always want to do, which is important to do after every loss, is to go over here. One of my complaints about this skin is that this screen sucks. It's so hard to see which player is which. But yeah, guys like Tiatia, after that really poor performance, we're going to do the fine 1 week's wages thing, and then we'll also have a talking to with him. I already threw the water bottle. I did. You're not supposed to, but I did anyway. And did that to try to wake the players up after a really, really poor performance. Now, I recommend not finding players 2 week wages if you can help it. I mean, even when you're playing at this level where there are no wages at all, so you're not really finding them anything, you really don't want to find them too much money because it will destroy the morale in your dressing room, and that's the thing you have to worry about, right? You always have to remember too that poor performances can be caused either by players just not being consistent or by players being completely overwhelmed because they're just not good enough. Now, some of these guys like Afafa Moana, he hasn't played well for us at all. So this is another one. I'll only fine him 1 week's wages so he doesn't go completely ballistic on me. But we're going to talk with him. I can't talk with him about his recent form. And we're going to have to really keep an eye on this guy. There's a chance that we might not stick with this guy in the long run, or we may try to see if we can get somebody else to come here and play in the back because he's just not getting enough to play at this level. That's just all there is to it. I mean, you can see it in terms of his form. I've pointed this out before. He's had absolutely abysmal form the entire season. He's been awful. So that's the reason why I can't talk with him about his form because he's been completely horrible. I'm assuming that he feels pretty happy. He does because he keeps playing on the team. He's going to find himself on the under-18 squad soon. And yeah, I mean, his form's been bad. If his form keeps being this bad, what's going to happen to him is he's going to find himself no longer on this team. We'll just get rid of him. So anyway, that's the way that you respond to that. Not entirely sure what else to do with the tactic. Again, like I said, I'm probably going to take a close look at the wingers and decide whether I want to keep them this way or not. We could always have these guys switched over to like a fullback role instead, and kind of play around a little bit with that. But I do think that we are definitely going to remove attacking roles from the wing backs because that just isn't working. We keep getting these wild shots from players who shouldn't take them. I like to see Rock Calliope take more shots and keep the shots up here with players playing up in the front. So that's sort of my idea. I think that we might take the overlap off as well. I don't know. We'll figure out what we need to do. But yeah, it might be a good idea to sort of take that off and just sort of see what we can get from there. What I would really like to do is have the players actually, follow this advice and play the game the way that they should instead of lumping the ball forward and kind of guessing and hoping for something to happen. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And there you go. That's what the plan is moving forward after this really, really pitiful loss. 5-2 is not really not really what we wanted to lose by. I'll tell you that. That was not in the plan for today. But there you have it. And I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye.